Welcome everyone to the Minions of the Zoo Tuesday edition. I'm your keeper, Skep this evening, and with me I have minions Harry, the Harry
Howdy.
Channel, and Spud is with me tonight.
Hello.
I'm
So
still
glad
full
to have you
screen so nobody
guys.
can see you.
The fellows were just explaining to me that network speeds are faster than 100 megabits. Who heard about these? I didn't even know that was possible.
They are.
Didn't even know that was possible. Over 100 megabits. Can you imagine such a thing?
Yep.
I don't see why hard drives ever had to be more than about 10 megabytes. Make them any bigger than that, they start to lose their mind. You can actually find that ad, that old Apple ad with the Steve Jobs look-alike when they were doing the Apple ads with, hey, isn't that Steve Jobs? No, it's somebody who looks vaguely like him, and dresses exactly like him. And he comes up and he says, anything bigger than a 10 megabyte hard drive probably isn't too reliable.
Well, the more sectors you've got, the more sectors that can fail. That's just science.
That's just science, exactly. It's
Yes.
like if you want to have more pizza, you just cut the pizza into more pieces, and everybody gets more pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Mashisu is here. Hi, Mash. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming by. And one of the things I didn't really have a show planned tonight because I had planned for this to be the beginning of my retirement from hosting the show, but I'm always happy to do it. And I'll host any Tuesday night that they want me to and where I'm feeling like it. But for those of you wondering why I'm hosting, after I went through that last week and I explained that I was retiring, be a part-time host or host every once in a while and be on Harry's show. It's just a matter of getting old and trying to do too many things and being too tired at the end of the day to do this. And so I had to think about where I wanted my priorities and so forth. And so I retired from being a host. That's why I'm back tonight, because I offered to do the show for as long as they wanted me to, basically, just until they could get somebody else. And they said, okay, you can start tonight. So, starting my new job as a host, and boy, what a sad day this has been. My heart is just broken about what's going on in Israel and the very difficult situation that country is in. And even after you get over the death fantasies that you have for the people who are doing this monstrous stuff, they have a sociological problem there that is, boy, it is really, it makes the Northern Ireland problem look simple. There are so many moving parts in the Palestine problem. There are so many. There's a big clot of people that hate the people who have money, land, success, and power, who live next door to the big clot of people who are mad at them. And the people who don't have the money, the Palestinians, they want to kill the Israelis. They want to kill the Israelis and throw them out. Throw them out. Get rid of them. No Jews in the area. From the river to the sea, the land will be Jew free. Is what the charter of Hamas actually says. Now, it doesn't say Jew free. It says from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free, or something to that effect. But everybody knows what that means. That means, according to Surah 9, chapter 5 of the Quran, the infidels will be driven from the land. They will make war on the infidels and drive them from the land. And these people take that as literally as some of the people in Texas take the Bible. And so there you go. They are just, they think that killing Jews is exactly what God wants them to do. And that's why they were capable of the madness that they perpetrated against Israel. It's an absolutely hideous criminal act they did. This is not resistance. They are not militants. They are terrorists. They are murderers. They're rapists. They're destroyers. They are agents of hate, in my opinion. The people who went into Israel and murdered those people. And America needs to make sure that we're a very good ally to Israel, who has been a good ally to us. We get priceless information from Israel and a lot of other good things. They've been a good ally to us. We need to be a good ally to them. Sending the Ford into the Eastern Med is a good start, I think. And just, we probably can do I think, the most by just standing there and looking menacing and say, don't anybody else intervene in this. Okay, Israel's going to take care of this, and we're going to watch them to make sure nobody helps either side. That's what I hope our role is going to be. I don't know. You guys have any opinions about this, or
Several.
you want to talk to me? What's on your mind?
Okay, I have a couple of things, but I don't want to monopolize everything because I'm sure Spud Gun's got some things to say. So I'm going to be succinct compared to my normal self.
Compared to me,
don't you be as effervescent as you need to be.
No. Thing one is, by having our people there in the Gulf, we're going to basically control that airspace. And that will cut down on the number of surprises that might potentially come from that direction. So the Israelis can sort of focus on what's to the left, which would be good. Mm-hmm. So if we can make their life a little simpler, give them one less thing to worry about, that's fantastic. And then, of course, there's just showing the flag in the area.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing like a high combat air patrol flown by F-35s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you.
So the other thing is, I heard people, I think Ami Horowitz was talking to Adam Carolla, sort of doing the, I'm here, or I've been talking to people about public opinion, about the situation. And amongst people on the left, there's a lot of them that are just, they're siding with the Hamas because they think that Hamas is the underdog, right? Because victim status is all the progressives really care about. Who can be the biggest victim? Now, and I hope that a lot of the more terrible things I've heard about some of the atrocities that have been committed, I mean, I hope they're false. I hope it's just propaganda, because I wouldn't want that kind of human suffering to take place. But a lot of the things that may very well have happened kind of destroys that whole narrative of you being the underdog. I mean, there's, you can't really claim to be the person who's put upon when you're committing crimes that even Genghis Khan would have said, "Sheh,
yeah,
no, not the kids."
Yeah,
okay.
Have a beer.
To say people
those are babies.
We don't have a history of this sort of thing happening, and I started thinking, well, how far do I have to go back? Until the Han, Genghis Khan. You got to really go way back into history to get the level of terrible that these people are talking about. So I hope, as much of it is propaganda as possible, because I wouldn't want those things to ever happen. But even the parts we know happened from the videos and their own claims are bad enough. And I feel really terrible for the people who've had their family members get kidnapped, but the Israelis cannot bargain for those people. If they can manage to get them out using force and not end up killing them in the process of liberating them, great. But they absolutely cannot bargain with these people and let humans that get kidnapped become bargaining chips. You need to almost just sort of assume that those people are gone the second they're kidnapped. And if you can bring them back, it's a miracle. But negotiating with Hamas for people who've been kidnapped is just going to put more people's lives on the line later.
Yeah. Well, for my part, I think the Israelis are doing some right things. I think cutting off the food, water, and electricity to Gaza is an excellent idea. Now we need to go in there, and they have some independent power generation, some generators and the like. We need to hunt those down and destroy those, because they're running the lights at night, and Israel didn't destroy them last night. I think they should have, but in any case, they'll have the chance every night. As far as I'm concerned, I would cordon off an area around Gaza all the way around, and it would be a death zone. And anything in there must be shot, must be destroyed, must be shot. I would have drones. I would patrol the living shit out of that and kill anybody. And then I probably, if they continued to fire rockets, I would just start randomly shelling, into Gaza. See how they like that. See if they don't get some pressure from their own people to stop doing that once a whole bunch of them start dying. I really would. I truly would do that. War is war, and this is war. If you don't make war, they'll make war on you.
Yeah, I think there's several international agreements that you'd be going up against on that, and
International agreements, jeez.
I don't know. I don't know if long term. Remember, I said it's about the victim status, right?
I know.
And there is a limit to what they can do, but if they can certainly send people in. Okay, there's a big difference between indiscriminately killing civilians and collateral damage, and I think the Israelis know what that difference is. There's going to be collateral damage. There's nothing you can do about that, especially given the way Hamas loves to use children as human shields.
That's my point. Is
they don't need to go out of their way to increase the civilian death toll. It's going to happen as a matter of course.
Yeah,
and I say that as it's a very sober thought that I'm putting out here. I take no joy in that happening. But I think we're looking at house to house, building to building, street to street searches. They're going to find all these underground bunkers. They're going to do what they need to do to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't question the Israelis' resolve one little bit about this.
No. But I would just make Gaza unlivable. I would make it unlivable until they do something, until the people there, and they can do something about Hamas if they want to. They elected Hamas. They love Hamas. They love Hamas so much, let them eat some lead. After a steady diet of lead, let's see if they start pushing on Hamas to be a little bit more conciliatory and maybe take one of the many, many peace deals that Israel has offered them. God, they've been.
I think those are off the table at this point.
Well, they are. That's the thing is they've had 7 or 8 chances for peace with generous terms, with Israel always giving up much, much more than it was giving. Every single time, if it wasn't so overwhelming, every single offer. And yet, one after another, the Palestinian leaders say, no, we're not dealing with the Jews. They're animals. That's the way they treat them, and that's the way they think of them. You ask any Palestinian what they think of a Jew, they'll tell you they're below an animal. As long as you're dealing with people, that's their attitude. I don't know how you deal with them.
Well, I heard one report which I find to be really shocking. You remember back in 9/11, there was the presidential daily briefing. Condoleezza Rice would brief the president daily, right? And one of those briefings was Bin Laden determined to attack, within America, where they even talked about weaknesses in civil aviation. Bush Jr. had all of the heads up that they needed, and our government screwed the pooch, right?
Yep.
So what I'm
There's
hearing,
no doubt about that.
and of course there's no reason to believe anything, it's just hearsay, right? So just getting out of the hearsay, is that the Egyptians told the Israelis that something was kicking off in Gaza and they better be prepared. And yet another Yom Kippur, war type situation happened where they were caught with their pants down again on a major holiday.
Yep.
They had actionable intelligence. They had a warning from an ally government, because it's not in the Egyptians' best interest to have all kinds of shit going on in Gaza. They don't want that. You notice they're not opening up their border saying, "Hey, come on in, come live in Egypt." It's like, no, they're not. So they want
have you seen
stability?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it that how did this again happen? Like with Condoleezza Rice and the PDB here, how is it that they got a warning and didn't do what needed to be done
Well,
based on that? Did they just assume that, oh, well, we're the best
No.
intelligence outfit in the area. We're legendary for our fantastic intelligence. Did they just dismiss the claim
I
from the
don't think so.
Egyptians?
I think that a lot of people in the administration said, "Oh boy, our friends in Palestine have got something cooked up for the Israelis. Stand by, it's going to be great." I really think it was like that. I think they said, "Well, this is going to happen. Let's watch." And now that it's turned into a shitstorm, they're all going, "Oh, we had no idea," but I believe they had a pretty good idea. I believe they knew something was going to happen. I mean, if we even heard out in layman land that something was brewing, which was all over J Twitter before this happened, this is. I have to believe that some of the people in the State Department and the CIA had to have better information than I do. They have to.
The logistics of the stuff, the supplies for making all that, those rockets that they fired, the amount of material that they needed to build all of those, we should have noticed. Somebody
Did
should
you
have
hear
noticed.
about the 3,000 guns that they found in a gun and ammunition dump? The Israelis came upon a gigantic cache of arms. 3,000 machine guns? 3,000?
Where did they find these?
I'll get the article.
This wasn't inside Israel. This was in Gaza, right?
I think it was right on the corner. It was just inside Gaza. Yeah.
Okay.
It was under a Palestinian mosque. Israeli officials said troops acted on precise intelligence from the Israeli security agency, used advanced technological tools to investigate the terrorist infrastructure embedded inside the mosque. Israeli forces reveal weapons. God, Jesus Christ. Oh, wait, when is this? Oh, wait, that was July. But still, it's old. All right. I'm having trouble finding that. I'll find that. Let's see. Israel says weapons, cache, weapons, cache. Unfortunately, cache is a problem. All right. They found a huge amount of weapons that are. I think they're just inside Gaza. They're just the first troops that have gone up to the line, or maybe just inside Gaza now. But they're going to go house to house and root out the terrorists. That's what their plan is. They will lose. They'll lose 1,000 men. They won't lose 1,000 men. They'll lose 200 men doing this. In the course of this, it will take them a year.
Yeah.
This is going to be
but
hard.
it sends a message. It's, in the fuck around and find out graph, you're well up into the upper right corner of that thing.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So I have another observation, but I want to give Spud a chance to talk because I'm talking a lot.
What's up, Spud? What do you think about it?
Can I be honest? And here we go. This is going to be Spud getting banned. I honestly don't give a shit. They're going to keep killing each other. It's been going on for roughly about 3,000 years. I don't care.
So you don't care?
No. So
no, you got to be a spectator. You got to be a spectator. I do not want to be a participant in this. I don't. But I think the U.S. can give the air support without it really putting us out too much.
Yeah, but
We've already got troops in Gaza. You know that. Do you know that?
What the U.S. has?
The U.S. has troops in Gaza already.
Yet another forever war. Same as Ukraine. Raytheon and BAE systems need fed. And because if you not noticed something, right? Everybody pulled out of Afghan, right? And less than 12 months later, oh, look at this. We need to ramp everything up because we've got to throw everything into the Ukraine. Right. Again, in the 90s, right, sorry, and I am segueing just a touch because, like I say, I've no interest at all in the Israel-Palestine stuff because it doesn't matter what happens, it's going to be the same. Nothing's ever going to change. But with, you pulled out of Afghanistan and then all of a sudden all the weapons manufacturers need to pony up and get going again because they needed to feed the war machine in Ukraine.
Kind of wish we had some of that material, those armaments back, those helicopters, the billions of dollars worth of guns.
Wasn't it about $84 billion worth of, not 84 billion,
probably about 84 trillion. Dollars.
Not trillion, because your national debt's only 32 trillion.
Maybe quintillion. But anyway, it's a zillion dollars worth of
85 billion, 90 billion. It was not.
It's not. Yeah, it's not that much. But it's not a lot.
It's
pocket change.
Not a lot.
Well, I mean, if you can print your own money, it's not that big a deal. Did you hear that? I guess there's some report. People keep an eye on which stocks our government officials tend to buy, and I guess a lot of people bought into Raytheon recently who work in our capital.
Oh yeah, that's
as an example.
Can I just say, shock horror. I am so surprised. You'll probably find McDonnell Douglas and, all the smaller ones are all winding up as well. So.
All those smart guys go out and buy Raytheon and so forth. None of them have the wherewithal, though, to go and find out who is the most highly leveraged supplier of Raytheon who's liable to get a huge break from increased war. And then see if they're public. Buy that stock, because those are the ones that are going to have the big delta.
Fair.
I'm just glad they're buying Raytheon and not General Dynamics.
Why?
Little joke for the people who are well informed there. So
obviously not me.
Yeah, one thing.
Well, I'm having a boomer moment in case you're reading chat.
No, it's okay. One of the things that I did notice, as an observation, is it looks to me like Hamas has definitely been paying close attention to the Ukraine situation, because I think what we're seeing is an evolution in warfare take place. Mm-hmm. A lot more sort of unorthodox, small type things going on. A lot of the tactics that the Ukrainians are using against the Russians just got adapted and employed against the Israelis.
Yeah.
So a lot more emphasis on drones, that type of thing. They've seen what works, and they've been applying it.
And micro fights.
Yep.
They're really good. They're really good at executing those, and we need to execute their micros. As far as I'm concerned, you could go in. I swear, this is not the opinion of Minions of the Zoo. This is just the opinion of Skep Tock. But Skep Tock would go in there, take Gaza. I would reduce it to powder. I would make the powder jump. And when powder jumped prettily enough for me, then I would say, all right, Israelis, all yours, make a park out of it. I would leave no humans alive. I would leave no humans alive in Gaza, not one. And just say to the world, this is what happened. Don't do this again. Don't learn this lesson again. I'm so fucking pissed off about those children.
Yeah. Well, I predict they're gonna go door to door, and it's gonna take a lot of people are gonna get killed. But it's just got to get done. They cannot leave. They basically have to debride all the necrotic tissue out of Gaza. And the only way to
Yes,
do
they
that is
do.
to cover every square foot of it.
But you have to realize that 100% of that population, they're not all Hamas supporters, although most of them are. But 100% of them, 100% of the population of Gaza will tell you that they hate Jews and they want to kill Jews. Every single person in there. Not
Yeah, I've
one
seen Memory
exception to that.
TV. You've seen Memory TV,
Of course.
MEMRI,
Yeah, no.
Mermy.
Mermy,
Yeah.
Mermy, because it's
Mermy.
MEMRI.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's enough out of you, aluminium person. No, you're probably right. The
bloody Anglos.
He probably says
I can't pronounce-
Mamori
I
instead
can't
of
pronounce
memory.
anything.
I can, you see, that's the problem with it being my language. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, you guys,
Truck is a better
well, I mean,
word for
you
truck
can
than
see the
lorry.
kind of
I'm just saying.
indoctrination that school children are getting. They start really early with that sort of stuff. Little kids in elementary school just being evangelized, propagandized, brainwashed. Yeah, I have no doubt that
No, Pope
it's
Gregory
probably a
said-
very high percentage.
Pope Gregory said, "Give me the child until he's 10 years old, and
Give
then
me
do what,
the
do
child
what,
till
then
he's
do what you
7.
will with him, and he'll still be faithful to the church."
Well, some people
Give
can
me
shake
the
off
child
the
till he's
propaganda.
7 and I'll show you the man, is the one I've heard.
So, but anyway,
Yep.
that was the. So that's the sad thing that's going on. So everybody's jumping up and down about what's going on over there. It's interesting to see how that has put the Ukraine out of the spotlight and made people think about something other than Ukraine. I think some of the Ukraine people, I believe I was beginning to catch war envy coming from some of the Ukrainians who want the U.S. to march their troops into the Ukraine and just take it back from those nasty old Russians, the good old American way, like Captain America would. And the sentiment that I have found is much stronger. Or at least I think it's stronger to help the Ukrainians take back their country than it is to help the Israelis, than to go in and help the Israelis. I don't think we have I don't think there's much of a chance of us doing much more than providing, like combat air patrol type services, electronic coordination from above, and some special forces on the ground, which is evidently happening now from public reports that I've heard. That there are U.S. hostages over there, and we know roughly where they are. So there will be, I promise you, there are SEALs on the ground right now. And the way that those guys operate, if they basically try and move silently and avoid engagement. But if they engage you, you will die. You'll die quietly too. They're real good at that.
Yeah, those guys definitely know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, it's fairly distressing, but we're only capable of really fighting 2 wars at a time. I mean, it's only
Barely
right,
that. Barely that.
only. But the real question is, we do not want to get sucked into this thing, because with what's going on in Ukraine already, we need to keep the other hand free to basically deal with Taiwan. And if we look like we're not paying attention in that part of the world, there are bad actors who will take advantage of that vacuum.
We need to not extend ourselves. We need to keep our powder dry right now.
We need to keep our powder
important.
dry, because we got one good war left in us right now, because we can only do 2 at a time. And I think the Israelis can take care of their own shit for the most part.
They can. We give them a huge advantage by coordinating them electronically.
Well, are they? They're not in Five Eyes. They're in, what is it, Seven Eyes? I forget which ring of our security apparatus they're in, but they're not most privileged like the Anglosphere countries.
Yeah,
those are the Five Eyes. But they're then the next tier. So we do a lot of pretty free sharing of information with them.
we definitely will keep their airspace clear. And
We can do that much for them. It's just one
Oh,
aircraft
yeah.
carrier, and they need the flight time anyway. So just put a big old cap over the entire water area there.
by the way, bring back those guys in the motorized parachutes that shot that. Bring those guys back when we have somebody in the air.
Yeah.
Right, I've just checked.
You'll understand why there is a gun mount on the F-35 now, on the E.
Right, I've just checked.
You can't miss a parachute.
Right, I've just checked the Five Eyes Alliance that you just touched on. There's
Yep.
5, 9, and 14 eyes, and Israel are in none of those.
Well, I know we have a security arrangement with them. Maybe it's not in that set, but we definitely have one.
Yes. And can I just answer Tia in the chat? He's asked why the Iron Dome failed.
It's overwhelmed.
Yeah, from what I understand, it was basically overwhelmed. There was just, I think it can cope with about 1,000. No, it's not. It's about 500 missiles, and it had 3,000 or there and thereabouts. It just was never built for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's basically a denial of service attack, but with missiles.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
yes. Let's see. Sorry, I'm having a look to see what Israel's in. Let's see. To see what it's in with regards to I can't see anything.
Several countries have been prospective members of the Five Eyes. Israel, Singapore, South Korea, and Japan have or continue to collaborate with the alliance, although none are formally members. According to French news magazine, I Don't Care, the United States propositioned France to join the treaty and form a subsequent Six Eyes alliance. French president at the time, Nicolas Sarkozy, required that France have the same status as the other members, including the signing of a no-spy agreement. You may not spy on France. This proposal was approved by the director of the NSA, but rejected by the director of the CIA and by President Barack Obama, who could not get his head unstuck from his ass long enough to sign the agreement. So this resulted in a refusal from France. That's all that Wikipedia
That's
says.
France, though. France are pricks.
Yeah.
You know, as a country, France are pricks. I'm English. We know this, right? The French people are generally very nice, but
Amazing
France
sauces.
as a country, yes. Although they're called custard creme anglaise, and I don't like that.
Well, everybody's got one they don't like.
Okay, now I feel like you're just trying to get me to say something without talking about food for too long. There are many different types of custard. Creme anglaise is simply the thin one. It's really just a thin sauce that's used with some desserts.
Yes,
As opposed to some like creme pat or creme patissier or other types of custardy types of dessert things. But creme anglaise is just one type of custard.
I don't care.
What's your favorite kind of custard?
The kind of custard that you put on a Manchester tart. It's
Like
sort
tarts?
of
Okay.
no.
Is this just like a prostitute or
No.
what are you saying?
Hang on.
A prostitute from Manchester comes in and all right, and you do what?
No. Oh, good God, you bloody heathens. Fucking colonials, honestly. Hang on. I'll get you a picture of a Manchester tart.
Is she hot? She likes 70-year-olds.
No, you serve it cold. Behave. Here we go. That's how you do it. Lovely. Hang on. Right, Skep, I'm gonna ping it to your. Hang on. In fact, Harry, it would be
Well,
better.
you can present it. Just present it. Just present.
And then
Oh,
he'll embiggen your
good
thing.
gravy.
And I'll embiggen your deal.
Yeah. Hang on. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. So
Actually, it's a wyvern.
Send me the picture in Discord.
yeah, I think that's gonna be easier, and
Do
it's
that.
not that I'm
Just,
being awkward.
no, it's all right. I've been awkward my whole life. At least I'm finally good at it.
About time.
There you go.
I'm not so awkward anymore. All right, let's look at this thing. Didn't that look nice? Let's do this just to not dox anybody. Alrighty.
Oh yes, please don't dox me.
No, we're not going to dox anybody. We're going to do this. And go back over here. And go share the screen. And
And hang on.
hold on. Let's see.
Present.
There we go.
Select window or screen. Oh, there you
There
go.
you go.
It's custard, raspberry, desiccated coconut, and then pastry.
What's the yellow stuff? Is that custard?
That's custard. It's obviously it's cold dessert, so it's basically congealed custard, for want of a better way of putting it. But that
might be pretty good with the raspberry and the coconut. That's a good taste combination.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah,
and
and
custard. Nice.
It used to be a words. It used to be a staple at school. School dinners. Nom, 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 nom. I can find you another one as well if you'd like.
Now, did you go to? How did they do the schools again in England? Is it the private school, the public schools, or the expensive schools?
Yeah, public schools are the ones that you pay for.
Right. And the ones that are provided to you are state schools.
State, yeah, you get state. We don't have private schools in inverted commas like you guys do. Spittle in the chat. That's some thick tart shell there, Spud. I know you liked it thick.
That looks pretty good, actually. I think that looks pretty wonderful.
It really is. You don't normally get it with the raspberries in it, though. You normally get like what you would call raspberry jelly, but we call raspberry jam. And it is as good as it looks. It is absolutely. Oh.
The only thing that Americans know about Manchester is that
it's in New Hampshire.
No, there's a soccer team that I think comes from up there, Manchester United or something like that.
Manchester United.
Is that the same? Is that the same Manchester? Or is that a different one?
No, that's the same Manchester. Although technically, Manchester United's ground is just on the Salford side of the boundary.
Okay, so that is the correct Manchester. So
yes.
Is that a popular football club up there?
Yes.
They have an avid following.
Yes.
Are they silly about it?
It's probably closer to
It's
term you're
it's
looking for.
Englishmen and football, of course, are silly about it. You know, it's right. Think of it this way. Okay. Think of. Hang on, I'm trying to.
Well, while you're thinking of that, let me just give a little bit of background. One thing about growing up in the United States is you don't realize how important soccer or football, which everybody else calls it, is to the rest of the world. I got a little bit of flavor for that growing up in Belgium. I didn't. I played baseball with the American Youth League that they had organized for the kids of Americans who wanted to play baseball. But mostly what I played was soccer. Played soccer all the time I was there. And they're serious about training kids to play soccer. It's just as serious as playing baseball or football in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Americans really don't realize how important football is. I make a joke about Man United and Arsenal and all these other places, but these places mean everything to the people who come to those places. It's their baseball, their football, every professional sport team you can think of, all wrapped up into one sport. It's just incredibly important to these people. These guys live and die by who wins the game, who loses the game, and how well their team played. And if somebody insults their team, especially if they lost, there's usually a fight. From what I can see, soccer hooliganism really is a thing, is it?
It is,
Oh,
but it
God,
has calmed down. It doesn't happen anymore in the same way.
Yeah.
It used to. Don't get me wrong. Right, and I'm trying to find right because you're a American football fan, yeah.
Yeah, but I've never stopped loving soccer.
No, that's okay. Think of the rivalry as AC and Inter Milan,
Yeah.
right? When we do rivalries, that's what we do. And or Buffalo versus Miami yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think in terms of intensities, I actually think your soccer rivalries are more like our college rivalries. College
Oh yeah.
rivalries are more intensely felt because they tend to be felt by younger people, young immature people who are just learning how emotions work, and
Yes.
there's a lot of passion in following your favorite team. Now, I solved
Absolutely.
that problem by going to the university with the longest Division 1A losing streak in the history of American football, Northwestern University. And we used to have a cheer when we play Ohio State, and they'd be up like 55-0, in the second quarter. And we'd say, "Kick our butts. It's okay. You'll all work for us someday." Just more or less true.
Hang on, who was your college team, if you don't mind me asking?
The Northwestern University Mildcats. Wildcats, really, but
Yeah,
we call them
but
the Mildcats.
yeah.
yeah. I will give the English credit for one thing. Well, not just the English, but the whole Anglo area there, Scotland, all of it. Okay. When it comes to your chanting,
Don't no
No,
don't call Scotland Anglo. Oh good God, you'll start another
hey, it's
fucking war.
devolved, but you still own it, so deal with it, man. The point is
No,
that you
don't
guys,
no, please don't. I'm asking nicely.
all
Don't
right, but what is
don't
your point? What
pretend
is
that
make
Scotland.
your point, Harry? Make
Yeah,
your point.
my
sorry,
point is that you
Harry.
guys are so much better at the chanting and the singing associated with sports. You look at
Oh yeah,
you look at the people in the U.S. and it's always sort of on the level of bad union chanting, like "Hey, hey, ho," this bad player has got to go. That's like the limit of our musicality more often than not. You guys have like these elaborate songs and everybody knows the words.
Choreographed.
You're more or less in tune. It's like
Yes.
you can
Yes.
actually get people in large groups to sort of sing and sound like they know what they're doing. It's astonishing. And I see that and I'm just kind of in awe. And I'm like, man, we musically just do not have it going on. Or we're just
Yep.
saving it up for talent competitions or something. I don't know. It is truly stunning the way the audience participates in sports over there, like soccer and cricket and rugby.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got us beat. I mean, it's like we didn't even show up for the contest. I'm embarrassed when I hear them chant.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, Spud. I want to ask you another question. When you were growing up, when I was growing up, so when I was in Belgium, I went to a British-sponsored school that had about half Belgian, half American and English kids in it, and it's called the International School of Brussels.
Yep.
And the well, how to explain it?
In English.
Yeah, that's too hard. It's too hard and too long a path for us to get into right now. Yeah, making a long story short, the only thing that I retained from my soccer training was a good enough kicking ability where I would go out and kick extra points, and I always had a really good leg, and just 4 years of just working on my leg, working on my kicking, developing my kicking, and so forth. When I came back to the United States, I could kick an extra point, no problem. If you think that's easy, try it sometime. Now, if you're an old soccer player, you can probably do it, but you have to know a little bit about something about how to get strength into a ball and kicking dynamics and stuff like that to put enough on the ball to get it through the uprights. It's much harder than it looks like. I have a lot of respect for kickers.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, it's right. I'm going to say it's kind of like kicking a penalty in rugby, but it's a little bit easier because you guys just move through the hashes. You're either left hash, right hash, or somewhere else in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've not got that wide difference of angle.
It doesn't start from any old place like rugby does. The plays in football, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because you can be right out on the touchline or you can be bang in front.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, because who's kicker for? I think it's the Ravens at the moment. Watched him kick 60-odd yards, and it's like, what the?
Oh, is he the one who
hell?
set the record the other day?
Is it
hit the
Tocker?
66-yarder?
Yeah,
it hit the upright and bounced through. That was amazing.
And you're just sitting there and you're thinking, you absolute smug git.
Yeah.
Just because of the. I mean,
60 kick a football 10 yards. It's harder than you think it is.
But kick it within, because again, you've got.
Kick it off the ground for 10 yards and get it up through the uprights. If you can do that, you've probably spent some time learning.
I would actually say it would be easier from 20 yards just because of the angle, the elevation, the lift. But and you're just thinking, what the hell? You know,
The other thing about that is that you kick. Uh, a lot of people think that American kickers kick with their toe. They don't. They kick it just like a soccer ball. In fact, they
Yep.
kick with
Side
the
of the
same
foot.
with the side of the foot.
yeah,
That's right. The
yeah,
front side of the foot. And
yeah.
yeah,
You're not, you're not, you're not toe poking it. You've got to take it on the side of the foot
no.
because that's the only way you can get under to get the lift.
Well, the thing is, if you put as much force as you can, that is. I've watched some kicking the dynamics game, the physics of kicking type thing, and that's evidently the way you get the highest foot speed is the most efficient transfer of momentum from your leg to the ball
Yeah,
is with that impact point. A lot of people think it's your toe, but if you actually hit the toe as hard as you hit it with that side of your foot, you'd probably break your toe. It certainly would be amazingly, hard to predict where it would go. It just would be, you couldn't control it. You can't kick that precisely. So that's why you have to kick with that inner part of your foot. But according to the kicking videos I was watching, that's where you get the best contact anyway. It's just like passing a soccer ball. I was surprised
yeah.
to learn that. I was very surprised.
It's not quite full on the instep. It's sorry, I'm
But it's
trying
not
to,
on the toe. That's my point.
no,
And
no,
that's the
absolutely.
mistake people make. But
Yeah. I
at any
think
rate,
the punter can get away with sort of flat against the, flat against the foot.
punter's a whole different thing.
Yeah, no,
Punting, you depends what you want to do with the ball. If you want to make it tumble, you hold it a certain way. If you
yeah,
want to make it stop, you hold it a different way. I mean, those guys have mastered a lot of stuff in kicking. It's real interesting.
yes,
Yeah, they hold it different ways. There are some kicks they kick it right on the point of the football, punt it.
yeah.
They want it to do some certain thing.
Well, it's like what's it? Again, growing up more in the Anglosphere rather than the American sphere.
Mm-hmm.
You
The
know you
Amerisphere.
the Amerisphere. That's yeah. But it just didn't sound right in my head. So now you said it. It's fine. Um, but you've got what's it? You've got because you'll have watched rugby. I mean, what you would call a squib kick,
Mm-hmm.
right? We would call right because my sport is rugby league. We'd call a grubber kick. Where you basically just kick it and you want it to roll through on the ground.
Right.
And as a haha, because with it being egg shaped, it makes it more fun for the other side to try and grab it.
Yep.
But yeah,
Egg
right, and
shaped.
a
Yeah. It's hand egg.
hand egg, yeah,
That's what
you
John
know,
Cleese calls it, but he's a funny dude.
Hand egg.
yeah,
Yes. John
yeah.
Cleese is an amazing man. An amazing man.
Rugby,
Well,
rugby is a game played by men with odd-shaped balls.
Well, there is a Tom Lehrer song about college football, which,
fight fiercely, Harvard.
yeah, hurl that
Yeah,
spheroid down the field.
right, and I've just double-checked, and it is
Drink.
Justin Tucker holds the field goal kick record, 66 yards, and it was 26th of September 2021. There you go.
Man, was that long ago?
Apparently so. Hang on, I am
I
just
watched it. I watched his kicking video where he went up to that university. I I forget where it is, Colorado Springs or someplace where where it was at a certain altitude, and he was kicking to see if he was getting more range, and he was kicking 70-yard field goals.
See,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Mythbusters built a robot, because if you have a human doing the kicking, it the human gets less oxygen, so maybe they're not kicking as hard. So you have to have a robot do the kicking to really test that stuff.
Oh, it's a to control for that, but the shape that these guys are in, I don't think the oxygen debt at 77,000 feet is gonna. Yeah, I don't know.
No, at the edge
might
of
actually
performance, those little
you're right.
differences
You're right. The O2 transport it is critical. It actually.
Well, I
would
hate
be
to
very
do this,
critical.
but I have an
Yeah, I know
apartment.
you've got to go, and that's why I've been trying to end the show gracefully.
oh,
Now,
sorry.
and so
Well, you
so
guys
I
can
was going
keep
to
talking,
say
but I have to walk out the door in about 2 minutes.
no. I'm going to let you go gracefully here, but we have been your minions. I want to thank everybody for coming out, listening to us, prattle on. Thank you, Spud Gun. Thank you, Harry, for joining me on the show tonight. We're going to call it an evening, and I may or may not be here next week. We'll see how it goes, but in any case, thanks for joining us this evening, everybody. The zoo is closed. Good night, and have a pleasant